Deepseek, what on earth is going on? If you haven't heard the news, guys, or you've been living under a rock, by now you'll have heard of a technology from China called Deepseek, which is disrupting the AI space right now. All the headlines in the last 24 hours have all been about this company from China and how they've managed to develop an AI model that can compete with the likes of ChatGPT at a fraction of the cost. And you can see all the big media outlets, Financial Times, Sky News, BBC here in the UK, The Guardian, every single one of these big media outlets have reported on this. And really, it's a flag of concern. Let's go into it. I want to talk to you about what's going on, what my thoughts are, and where we can expect to go with this in the next couple of minutes. So, NVIDIA collapse. Really, it was all about NVIDIA because NVIDIA are the world's leading supplier of chips, and China were prevented from importing any of these chips. However, DeepSeek managed to get a hold of some of these chips before the embargo kicked in. But really, I'm questioning, if DeepSeek are using NVIDIA's chips, why have we seen a drop in their share price? Like, what's the market's concerns here? I haven't quite understood. I genuinely think there's a fear that companies, countries like China will eventually develop their own AI chips. So, we're seeing the importance of a company like Nvidia really be realized, and reality is it's come down in its value. So Nvidia are really, if I wouldn't want to work at Nvidia right now. If I was the CEO of Nvidia, I'd probably be having a few sleepless nights. Now, responses from the market. You can imagine Trump, who's been a huge advocate of AI, has actually talked about this, and he's actually quite concerned, and he wants leaders in the US to really take note. So clearly he's concerned because he sees AI being one of those drivers in economic growth for the US. But now you've got a competitor from China which can equally match some of the best companies in the US. And right now, I've tried to download it, but I couldn't because of the sheer server demand. DeepSeek is the number one app on Apple App Store. So if you haven't already, guys, do check it out. A friend of mine is using it right now, and he's honestly said that it's as good as ChatGPT, if not better. So you can actually download and start using DeepSeek right now. And then really the two titans in the AI game, Sam Altman and Elon Musk, both obviously have a huge investor stake in AI. Sam has been more positive, singing its praises. I think he's more interested in going along the journey, whereas Elon is questioning, how do they get there? Let's ask some deeper questions. So I think Elon's a bit more dubious. But it'll be interesting to see how all these billionaires respond to a company coming out of China with some of the best technology out there. And then what's next, really? Some of you guys are asking this question, right? You've seen all the headlines, you've seen the impact on share prices. What does that mean, right? Well, number one, they've been able to develop this model at a fraction of the cost of what some of these US firms have invested. 500 billion went into OpenAI, whereas DeepSeek have managed to do that at a fraction of the cost. What does that mean? It basically means that any companies who are wanting to use an AI model will probably consider DeepSeek now because of how cost effective it is. If it's costing you a lot less to develop, you can charge a much lower price than, say, your competitors. So it'll be interesting to see when this is commercialized and available for businesses. And then really, it's all about technology adoption. I grabbed this chart off the internet, guys. I don't take credit for this. The light blue line would have been ChatGPT, and the dark blue line, are we saying that's DeepSeek? Are we expecting to see a decline in some of the best AI models out there if the Chinese are able to compete and release much better products? Maybe, and we've seen it happen. We've seen like companies like Nokia really collapse when newer competitors came to the market with the likes of Apple. And then reality is, guys, China is a tech superpower. You can't avoid that question. I think this is all a question of politics and a question of choice. So here you've got DJI. DJI are the leading drone manufacturers in the world. They recently announced a collapsible drone, which is now entered the market, and it's technology that's no one ever seen before, and they are dominant in that space. When you talk about drones, the majority of people out there who are buying a drone today are going straight to DJI. They're they're very cheap, and the technology is brilliant. BYD, if you haven't heard by now, Tesla's biggest competitor in China is BYD. And you can buy these vehicles, again, for a lot cheaper price than what you'd pay for, say, a Tesla. And China are really gaining space and a foothold in the battery market and EV market, especially in their local domestic market. And by now, you would have heard of obviously driverless cars. You see them in California, but reality is China have had them for a while now. You know, Here in Shanghai, you've got driverless cars which have been on the roads for many months now, and I see the Chinese companies competing and launching products into more markets like Dubai, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, other Asian markets, Australia, parts of Europe, parts of the UK. We'll see all that. I think it's inevitable because consumers don't want to pay a huge fortune for this kind of technology, and businesses want to make profits. So they'll be going for the best technology out there at the lowest cost. And then finally, China is leading in renewables. China have been for a while now out competing with everyone on solar and energy and wind, and I see that accelerating. So China, without a doubt, are leading tech superpower. The US has held dominance for a long time now, but we are starting to see the Chinese really compete. And then what does that mean? This is an interesting comment by Andrew Ng. He's a leading AI, mind in the industry, and he talked about this situation. And really, what he commented is that the application layer is where you want to be. You want to be producing apps that leverage Deepseek or ChatGPT. You don't want to be in the layer down where you're competing with the likes of Deepseek or ChatGPT because that foundation layer is going to get even more competitive. So I end on that point, guys. Thank you for watching. If you do like this, you like this short nugget of information and update industry news, do consider subscribing, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.